Hey everyone. I hope you guys are enjoying this amazing summer. And I know you guys enjoyed the investment class with Cecilia Bell last week. So I hope you guys are out there just like expanding your business and thinking about new ways on growing your business and helping your clients. Like I said, I'm coming back. So I'm coming back to do more workshops on how to understand credit, how to get your client scores up, how to inform your clients on how credit works, because I love you guys and I get all the questions. Again, if you ever have a question, do not hesitate to call me. This is my number. And yes, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you understand how credit works and to answer these crazy questions. I get all types of questions and I do answer my phone. Send me a text if you have a question about a client or about yourself or about, someone that needs help with their credit or has a credit question. Please do not hesitate to reach out to me. Hey, yes, please put in the chat where are you guys coming in from. Yes. Hey, Katrina, I saw you yesterday. Congratulations on being in Hawaii. I still have not gotten to Hawaii yet. I love to travel, as everyone knows. I am a Sagittarius, so that is our thing, traveling. But I have not made it to Hawaii yet. So I am going to put that on my list because everyone says it's like one of the most beautiful places in the world. So yes, let us know where you guys are checking in from. I hope you are having the best day of your life. Um, let us today. One of the things I want to talk about today is I want to get back to the basics. There are a lot of new people on this platform, and I've been talking about credit and how it's changed my life for some time now, and trying to help people get their credit scores up so they can live their best lives. So I wanted to get back to the basics and like really understanding how credit works, right? Because I'm getting a lot of questions about disputing and about the things that are on your credit report. Okay. So today what we're going to talk about is about disputing and about like payment history. What we do with my company and how we dispute the negative items on your credit report and what the whole law is that we're using to get these negative items off of your credit report. Okay. So yes, it is beautiful there. I saw your husband yesterday, excited about turning 60, Katrina. What a blessing. All right, so I'm gonna share my screen. Okay. All right, so you guys can see my screen. So today, like I said, we're gonna talk about disputing and about the payment history section of your credit report. So I'm gonna go over weekly like how credit works. I'm gonna go over personal credit first. I know we're super excited about business credit, and Patrina is a witness. She got some business credit. She's changing the game. So we're gonna go over business credit, but again, like I say all the time, business credit is available to everybody, but you can get way more business credit and like that juicy good business credit when your personal credit scores are up. Okay, so they are always looking at your personal credit. So let's go over how your credit score works, and today we're going to talk about payment history and the disputing process. Okay, so 35% of your score has to do with your payment history, and that has to do with all of the negative items on your credit report. Okay, so anything that's negative, like late payments, charge offs, collections, foreclosures, bankruptcies, anything negative will go into this 35%. Okay, so the way we're getting these negative items off, actually, let me pull up the website. The way that we're getting these negative items off of your credit report is we are using a law called the Fair Credit Reporting Act that says that everything on your credit report has to be 100% accurate. It has to be reporting um, in a timely manner, and it has to be verifiable. Okay. So a lot of things on your credit report are wrong. Are wrong. There's a mistake that they make. So sometimes they put stuff on your credit report. Like if you look at your credit report, you usually can see an item showing up on Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. And if you look at like a collection that's on your credit report, sometimes in Experian, it may show up that you owe $200 for the same exact collection. And then in Equifax, it may show up that you owe $203. That is incorrect. It has to be exactly what you owe that is put on your credit report. And we're looking for stuff like that. When you look at your credit report, you look at your client's credit report, if they're spelling the name incorrect, if they have the wrong amount that is owed, if they have your address incorrect, if they have the date that you opened the actual account incorrect, you can dispute with that information, right? You can also dispute if something is not is older than 7 years. Now, this is super important, y'all, because I have this all the time. It's not that the account is older than 7 years. It has to be that the actual collection is older than 7 years. Okay. So let's say you have a car, right? Like you have an auto loan and you got this auto loan in 2016, right? And you're paying on time with the auto loan. And then in 2020, COVID happens and you're like, this car don't even work anymore. I'm done with this. I'm not going to pay anymore, right? Usually when you stop paying on an account, they start putting late payments. So they have 30-day lates, 60-day lates, 90-day lates, 120, 180. Once you get to the 180-day late, that's when they usually put you into collections, right? They charge off the account, which means they charge it off to the insurance company so that the insurance company pays them for you not paying on the account, pays them the rest of the money that you owe, and then they sell that debt to a collection agency. So it's a charge off, now a collection, right? It's sold to a collection agency, and now they're just trying to collect as much as possible from the debt that you originally owed, right? So you got the car in 2016. It was charged off in 2020. Once it goes into collection, it's a charge off. That 7-year period that it can stay on your credit report starts when it goes into collection. So it starts in 2020. It does not start from the day that you actually got the actual loan. Because I have a lot of people saying, "Oh, I had that car in 2016. It's been longer than 7 years. It needs to come off my credit report." Da, 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 da. The 7-year period starts when the actual account goes into collections. Okay, so that is one of the ways you can dispute. If something is older than 7 years, it's been in collections for longer than 7 years, you can dispute with the credit bureaus to say that this is too old. It doesn't, it's longer than 7 years. You need to remove it from my credit report, right? That's one of the ways to dispute if something is incorrect or if something is too old. The last way to dispute is if an account is not verifiable. So meaning this happens a lot. Like when you have an old account and they've sold it and sold it and sold it and they keep selling it to different collection agencies. By the time they get to the third collection agency, they're selling it for pennies on the dollar and they don't even have like the original paperwork or any of that stuff that they can keep it on your credit report. So you're asking for verification. Show me my original signature. Show me that this is actually mine, right? So those are the 3 ways you can dispute. Now, there are also 3 ways to dispute. Those are the 3 ways to actually try to get items off. But the 3 ways that you can possibly dispute is one is online. You can dispute directly online with like Experian. I think even Credit Karma allows you to dispute online. One of the ways you can dispute is by calling the credit bureaus. Call the credit bureaus and tell them what you want to dispute, and then why you want to dispute them. And the third way to dispute is through letter writing. Letter writing. Okay. That is the only way that I dispute at all, is through letter writing. And it is the only way that I recommend anyone to dispute. When you dispute online, you have to scroll down and scroll down and scroll down, just like, and then you have to sign it at the bottom or click I agree. And one of the things you're agreeing to is that you are only going to dispute this one time, and whatever the decision is with the credit bureaus is the decision, and you're not going to challenge it at all, right? So when you dispute online, you can only dispute one time. So I do not recommend disputing online. When you dispute through letter writing, you can keep disputing. You get every month, you can keep disputing. I remember one time I was working with this client, and we were disputing. He had over 50 negative items on his credit report. And he came up to us and he was like, I only want you to get this one item off. I was like, well, there's 50 items. We need to try to get as many of them off as possible. So I'm disputing all 50 from break. And you should do the same thing. If you're ever disputing yourself or your client is disputing, don't be like some companies out there that only dispute one thing this month and then drag it out, and maybe dispute one thing next month and drag it out and drag it out. Dispute all of it. Do not write it all in one letter. Don't do that. Okay. So if you have 50 negative items, don't write one letter that includes 50 negative items. Remember, the goal is for this letter to get in front of an actual person, right? And if this person gets this letter and the letter has 50 negative items on it, and you're like, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, the person's going to look at that letter and be like, no, this looks like a pattern. No, I think you're wrong. Forget it. I'm not going to honor any of these disputes, right? So when you dispute, you actually don't want to have a whole bunch of things in one letter. You want to dispute and have maybe one or two things in the letter. Like, even if you have 50 negative items, like if my client has 50 negative items, I'm writing, or my team is writing like 30 letters. You don't need to have one thing in the letter, but you don't want to have more than like 2 negative items in a letter, because if you get it in front of a person and you're like, the letter's like, I'm trying to buy a house. I really, I looked at my credit report and I saw these 2 things were incorrect. Can you please investigate it and remove it, because it's not, following the Fair Credit Reporting Act, right? That is a different request than having someone look at it and say, I'm trying to get a house and these 50 things on my credit report are incorrect. Can you look into it and remove them? The likelihood of getting 50 things off in one letter, first of all, it's lazy and it's not likely to happen. So that's why you want to keep it small. Whatever you're disputing, keep it small. But I was going on a tangent. I'm giving you guys all the goodies about disputing. But the other thing is, you want to write letters, because like I was saying, there was one client we were writing 50 negative items, and this one item that he wanted to come off, we didn't get that item off until I think it was like the 7th round of letters. So is sorry, I thought I turned off my thing. So it is important that you write letters as opposed to disputing online. Okay. All right. Someone said I can't hear you. Can you guys hear us? If you can hear me, oh wow, okay, so somebody can hear me. All right. I just got a message saying you can't hear me. Okay. Yes, sometimes it takes a whole 7 rounds for us to see what to get something off. Okay, yes, I can hear you. Perfect. All right. All right. So now the other thing I want to go go over when it comes to disputing or payment history by itself, right? Um, so we're trying to get all these negative items off your credit report. It's worth 35% of your score, but it's not just the negative items that are on your credit report that affect this 35%. It's all of your payment history, all of your payment history. So it doesn't just look at the negative stuff. It looks at the positive stuff too. So whenever you have an open account and you're paying it on time, it positively affects this 35%, right? So let's say you have a car note and you're paying it on time. Every month that you're paying it on time, it's a positive effect on this 35%. If you have a student loan and you're paying it on time, it positively affects this. A credit card and you're paying it on time positively affects this, right? So a lot of people, but it's not like equal, right? I say this a lot. It's not like if I pay my car note on time this month and I pay it late next month, it's going to wash each other out. No, they want you to be in the 98th percentile when it comes to on-time payments, especially with open accounts, okay? With open accounts. So 98th percentile when it comes to on-time payments with open accounts. So that's kind of like if you had 100 on-time payments. 100 on-time payments would be like 8 years of paying something on time, right? Because it's 12 months in a year. 8 times 12 is 100. So, well, it's closer to 100 than most, right? So, so 8 years of paying something on time, right? And then you are late one time. You're late one time. That brings you into 99 percentile. Your scores may drop with one late payment. Your scores may drop 20 to 40 points, okay? And let's say you're late twice, right? You're on time for a couple months and then you're late again like 2 months later. That means your scores are going to go into the 98th percentile and your scores may drop probably anywhere between 40 and 80 points just for being late twice. When you were on time, all those months, just being late twice could drop your scores 100 points. The reason why your scores drop so dramatically in the very first month or so is because the credit report is trying to do a real-time quick report card of what's happening in your life, right? And if you get a late payment, right then and there, they want to let every lender out there, every bank know that something may be going on with Bonita, something may be going on with Sonia, something may be going on with Patrina. Maybe you should be a little cautious with her because I don't know why she got that late payment. Maybe she lost a job. Maybe she got sick. Maybe she's like overpaying bills. I don't know, right? So they're going to drop your scores very dramatically in the first month, in the first couple of days of you being late. Now, if you get a 30-day late payment, it's going to dramatically drop your scores for about 3 months, right? You being on time after that 30 days late, it's going to start to ease up on how much it's hurting your scores. Once you get a 60-day late, it's going to dramatically drop your scores for about 6 months. You get a 90-day late, it's going to dramatically drop your scores for about 9 months. So depending on how many months you're late, it's gonna let the credit bureaus know like how long to keep your scores low, so that they can give the most accurate information to the banks when they're pulling your credit report. Because all banks pull your credit report to see what's currently happening and if you're a good candidate for a loan or a credit card or them offering you money. So that's why late payments are like so dramatic in the very beginning. Okay. All right. Can sign back in now. All right, cool. So it's super important to be on time. And I always tell people the most important thing to do with this 35% that has to do with your credit scores. Let me bring it back up. Um, okay. So we talked about the payment history. 35% is the biggest part of your credit scores. The most important thing to do to help protect this 35% is to put everything in automatic payment. I know some people are like, I got a whole plan for this. I have a calendar. I had a client who showed me his calendar. Um, it was like 2 weeks ago or so, and he showed me like I think he had like 10 credit cards, and he showed me on his calendar how they show up as alerts, like pay this card this day, pay this card pay this card this day. Because he was like, Benita, I'm not putting things in automatic payment or automatic minimum payment, and this is my system. I'm telling you, things happen. And just because like I had another client who had a system too. I told her to put everything in automatic pay. And she put a lot of things in automatic pay, but she didn't put everything in automatic pay. And what happened was, I think it was like a PayPal account. Um, it was a PayPal account, and she hadn't used this account in like 5 months. So it wasn't on her calendar or wasn't on her system to pay. But they hit her with the annual fee. And because she hadn't used the account in so long, she didn't think anything of it, and she didn't have an automatic pay. And because they hit her with the annual fee and she did not pay the minimum charge, she got a late payment. And literally, let me tell you, literally, I was so sad for her because she did so much work. You know, we're going to talk about paying down her credit card. She had put almost $10,000 on her credit cards, and $10,000 on her credit cards, and her scores went up like 2 points. And she's like, Bonita, what happened? I thought you said if I paid down my credit cards, my scores would go up. And I said, yeah, that's true. There must have been something else that happened. And she put $10,000 on her credit cards. We were expecting her scores to go up 40, 60 points. And they went up 2 points because of a late payment that showed up. So that really, really hurt. So long story short, put everything in automatic payment. And automatic minimum payment if possible. And if you can't put it in automatic minimum payment, there's only like certain cards that are out there that don't allow you to do minimum payment. Usually the cards. So if you can't put it in, it might be a sign you don't want. Um, all right. So I'm going to look. I'm going to take some questions. I hope I gave you guys some good information. Today we talked about payment history. We talked about disputing. Um, do you write to specific departments? Um, sorry, we talked about payment history. We talked about disputing. Um, and next week we're gonna talk about my favorite, credit cards. Everyone knows that's my favorite. All right, so let me answer some questions. I see a couple of people have a question. So Liz asks, do you write to a specific department? I'm assuming when you're disputing, do you write to a specific department? Yes. You when you write to the credit bureaus, you do want to. So if you can Google it, right? So the credit bureaus have different addresses because they have different departments in different states. So I switch it up when I dispute. I dispute to different departments depending on the month. It's a system that we use. So to get the best results. So we don't always dispute with the Iowa department. Sometimes we go with the Atlanta department. And honestly, you can Google it. There's groups you can join that we all talk like, okay, which department's actually making moves, stuff like that, or um, which department is actually removing stuff. Sometimes you'll also notice that they sometimes you'll also notice when you're writing disputes that they send back letters to you asking you to dispute online, basically. So they may send a letter back saying, I saw that you disputed with us, but we need this information from you. And it's easier for you just to, go straight online and dispute. They're trying to get you to stop writing. That's why they write back these letters saying, basically, you can just go online and dispute. Because remember, like I said, when you dispute online, you can only dispute once. So whenever they write those letters, you always dispute backward with a letter. And even when they say they're not doing an investigation, they really do have to do an investigation. I've had plenty of things come off when people say they're not doing an investigation. Okay, so yes, there are different departments that you dispute with. One more thing I wanted to share, because I have a lot of people say, I need you to get this off of my credit report. Now, any credit repair that you go to, and just for you also to know, we can't legally say that we're going to get something off your credit report. Okay. We're really good. A lot of us are really good at getting stuff off your credit report. But we can't legally say, I'm going to get that removed, because that would be, because first of all, it's illegal when we get our license to be credit repair. That's something we say we can't do. But also, the only way that you can actually guarantee that something is coming off your credit report is if it is actually fraud, right? If it's actually fraud, and meaning that it's an account that's not yours, uh, like it's somebody else's account, or somebody used your information to start to get a car, or to get a credit card or something like that. So that's the only way that we can actually say that we're going to get it off, if it's actual fraud. And I had a client recently, like 3 days ago, come with some actual fraud. And we work with lawyers. Everyone, well, I work with lawyers, and I was able to, with the proof that it was actual fraud, give it to the lawyer, and the lawyer was able to do what he does, because he's really good. And so we're most likely, if even when the account comes off the credit report, the lawyer is really good that we work with. He's the best one we've worked with so far. He's actually still going to sue, even though he's going to get it off the credit report. We're going to get it off the credit report. He's still going to sue, because even those couple of months that I was on the credit report, he can prove that damages happened. She wasn't able to be approved to get the house. She lost her dream house because now it's off the market. Da, 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 da. So that's the only way that we can guarantee something's going to come off, if it's actual fraud. And if it's actual fraud, then yes, we can do that. But fraud it's not like, because I had someone feel like it was fraud, but it wasn't actual fraud, because it was he co-signed for his girlfriend's car at the time, and they are no longer together, and he wanted the car, and she didn't give it to him, and he was like, this is fraud. And I was like, that's you signed the paper, so it's not fraud. So it has to be actual fraud, like someone actually like pretended they were you, stuff like that. All right. So again, I'm going on a tangent. I hope that was helpful in the answer. Yes, cosign. Do not cosign. I got 3 boys, and they are delicious. They are so cute. I love them so much. But ask me if I'm ever going to cosign on anything. Not a student loan, not a car loan. Nah, I don't even think a mortgage. No. I ain't cosigning on nothing with them. We're going to talk about authorized user accounts in future sessions. We're going to talk about other ways that you can help support family and help support, partners and stuff like that with their credit without being a cosigner, because cosigning is not the jam. I remember working with a client, and he co-signed on his daughter's car for it was a gift for high school, and and she wasn't paying her bill, and he wasn't paying her bill either, and his credit was jacked up, and he wanted to buy a house with his, and he couldn't, and so doesn't matter if it's your child or not, don't matter if you love him or not. Do not co-sign. All right. Okay, cool. So I hope I gave you guys some good information. I'm gonna keep it short. I'm gonna keep it brief. We're gonna meet on Tuesdays at 12 o'clock, so you guys can get your lunch with me and we can talk about credit. Please put in the chat any questions that you guys have that you want me to discuss in future sessions. Um, and yes, if you take anything from this, do not co-sign. I don't care how cute your kids are. I tell you, my kids are cute. They're delicious. They still ain't getting no cosign over here. All right. I love you guys. I hope you guys have an amazing week. Enjoy your lives, because it's short and it's very long at the same time. So please enjoy every moment. And I love you guys, and I will talk to you guys next Tuesday. All right. Have a good one.